This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
And again, folks, remember, retirement's not just about growing a pile of money. It's about creating that dependable monthly income for 20, 30, even 40 years worth of your retirement. And of course, if you'd like to learn more, it all starts with one call to Jim Fox and his team at Wadadley Financial Group. 321-414-7526, 321-414-PLAN. And again, there's no cost, there's no obligation, so you've got nothing to lose. So don't delay. Again, that number, 321-414-7526. 321-414-PLAN. So, Jim, I saw a really interesting article here recently in Financial Advisor magazine, and it was tackling, let's be honest, a very delicate retirement topic, and that's what happens to your taxes when you lose a spouse. To me, the story's headline said it all, and I quote, "Losing a spouse is hard, but U.S. tax laws add salt to the wound," end quote. So, Jim, really, you want to talk about a double whammy. You're grieving the loss of a spouse, and now you're getting a surprise tax bill on top. Boy, that is just not something that any of us want to really think about, is it?
Oh, no, it's not. And it feels like, Kevin, have you ever went to church and you sat there and you're like, was a pastor hiding in the closet last week when I said these things? Like, have you ever done that?
Yes.
You feel like they're like preaching, not to the room, literally to you.
Right.
Well, that's what you're doing to me right now, because I had a gentleman in, and Joey, if you're listening, man, I love you. And you just touched my heart when you were telling me, the story. He's such a great guy. And we had a moment. We're both veterans and we connected there. But, he fell in love with this amazing woman. They moved down to Florida. They started a whole life together. Everything was happening and everything was great. And she got cancer and passed away, right? Mm-hmm. And, you could just see it. You could just see the pain and this was a few years ago. This wasn't last week, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, we had it all. We were there. And this was supposed to be like our greatest years. The next 15, 20 years was going to be us walking on the beach. And now he's like, I go to Publix and Walmart. I want to hang out with my dogs because I don't want to deal with people. Yeah. So I deal with all these clients. I deal with that emotional loss, right? Mm-hmm. And after her husband passed away, Michelle's grandfather, she never remarried, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, so there's that. And then there's this damn tax stuff, this nonsense of legal mumbo jumbo that you got to deal with. And instead of me getting specific into tax laws, because some stuff is simple and there's step up basis and how you set up accounts. And obviously there's spousal IRAs, which are different than inherited IRAs. And I mean, there's just problem and good thing and bad thing and good thing and bad thing. It's just kind of like the story of our lives, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of doing that, I want to pivot a little bit, okay? Because that emotional toll is massive. So especially if you have been married for decades, 50 years. Barbara, thinking about you and Warren right now. 50 years, yeah. Kevin.
It's amazing.
Crazy. How do you prepare yourself for not the emotional side? That's relatively easy. Right? Mm-hmm. How do you prepare yourself from the non-emotional side? The money, the income. Because think about this, Kevin, it rips at you, right? Let's say that you're a stay-at-home mom. You raise the kids and your husband was the primary breadwinner and he went out and he had this big income and now Social Security is this big chunk. Well, theoretically, you're going to get about half of his, right, under Social Security law. Sometimes it's less depending on when you take it, but roughly half, right? And so you guys have this income based on, Social Security income. Well, when the husband dies, the wife loses that income and picks up the spouse's, but there's still an income loss, Kevin.
Yeah.
Pensions. Some pensions go on forever to the spouse. Some pensions don't, i.e. my mom and dad's story. My dad died. My mom made more money than my dad. So my mom, didn't get my dad's Social Security because hers was bigger. So my dad died. That Social Security disappeared. Then my dad's pension, because he he picked his life only, that money disappeared. Mm-hmm. Think about that. That's like you're already down and now I got to deal with the finances of it. There's only one solution to this problem. And this is where my industry does just a disgusting job of helping people. It's what we claim to be, those of us that live in my world. Planners, right? That word planners. Instead, we turn into rate of return hawks. Oh, man, you got a 15% rate of return on that fund. That's pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. That isn't what we need to do. We need to be talking about, hey, look, if this happens, this is what we're going to do. If something happens to you, Mary, this is what it looks like. John, if something happens to Mary, this is what it looks like for you. And we break it down and we find the weakness in the plan. We figure it out. And we do this with everybody. And it's shocking because I sit down with people, and right now, the biggest gap, and talking to you, Bob, right now, I think is 14 years between Bob and his spouse, right? Mm-hmm. So when I think of planning, man, longevity story's pretty crazy when the spouse is 14 years younger. That money's got to last a long, long time, right? Mm-hmm. But we sit down and we chip away at it. And we make sure that not only do you have income streams, not only do you have tax efficiency planning, not only do you understand Social Security, when to take it, all that other nonsense, but we also play the what if game. And we make sure that you understand that. That's missing for 99% of you right now. Because whoever you're with, and I had a guy the other day that came in and we were talking about it, and he was losing Roth conversions for the past 3 years at $20,000 a year. And I said, man, I don't know who and he could have done this tax free. And I said, I don't know who your advisor is. He goes, well, it's me. I said, well, the same response. You should fire their butt. Ladies and gentlemen, you worked way too hard for this money. You've sacrificed too much for this money. You've worked your whole life to get to 62, 59, 68, whatever age retirement is for you. You did the work. You made the sacrifices. You're the one that did all the hard lifting. Why in the last quarter of this game are we going to mess it up by not understanding? And why are we going to go to some bozo who bought you lunch or bought you dinner? Don't worry, I'm calling myself the bozo because I do it too. Okay? Why are you going to go there and buy something from somebody that doesn't incorporate a full plan of fully understanding how the finances work? I tell people this all the time. Getting to retirement in my world is like having a family physician. You don't really have to be that smart, and you don't really have to be that good because you have time on your side advising clients, right? They got time to build up this money. The problem is once we get to retirement, guess what we're starting to run out of, Kevin? Time. Yeah. You know what else we're running out of? Money, because we're no longer working and we're retired, so our money has to work for us. So your financial advisor can no longer be a family physician. He needs to become a neurosurgeon. And he needs to understand every decision has impact. That's what we're talking about. And most of you either think you can do it on your own, or you have somebody you think is super nice, but yet you've been doing the same thing for 30 or 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not the solution. I'm not telling you to pick up the phone and call me. So if you think that I'm ranting and raving, so you call me, you've lost your mind. What I want you to do is understand there's holes and there's weaknesses within your plan, and you need to address it. And I get it, man. I am not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm totally happy about that. But what I will encourage you to do is, if it's not somebody like me, go find somebody that can help you tighten up this plan so you can enjoy the retirement that you sacrificed, worked your butt off for. You did all the right things. Now it's time to enjoy it, and you don't want little problems to pop up along the way. We're here if you want to call us. If you don't, find somebody else, but I will tell you this. Do not go another day without making the decision to at least make sure that your plan is on track. And if you don't have a plan, dial those numbers even faster because we need to get you started. 321-414-7526. Again, 321-414-PLAN.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we all can agree on, folks, losing a spouse is hard enough. The last thing your family needs during that grieving period or shortly thereafter is a painful tax surprise to only add salt to the wound. Many couples out there, they don't realize how drastically taxes can change after one spouse passes away. And Jim, we talk about this all the time on the show, right? It's not a matter of if, but when. Life's going to happen, right? And we see this all too often where folks are caught off guard. They're surprised. They aren't aren't prepared for this, and they are trying to play catch up after, again, a big life event happens, right?
Yeah, every single time. And listen, I don't care how prepared. We knew my dad probably had less than a year to live.
Yeah.
We knew it. We knew the week before he passed away that he was at the end. We knew the last night that we were there, we knew that he probably wouldn't make it through the night, and that's why we stayed there. Mm-hmm. Yet we were still shocked. That's the emotional side. Imagine if we could button up the non-emotional side. That's one less problem. That's one less thing to deal with. That's what planning does. That's why we put plan on our phone number. That's why we talk about plan every day, because you need a plan. If you have a plan, you can navigate most of the problems before they happen.
And it all starts with one phone call to Jim Fox and the team at Wadadley Financial Group. If you would like to start putting that plan in place, whether it's streams of income, whether it's understanding how taxes could change after losing a spouse, Social Security, annuities, you name it, Jim Fox and his team at Wadadley Financial Group, they're standing by to get you on his calendar with no cost and no obligation. So what do you have to lose? 321-414-PLAN is the number. Again, 321-414-7526. And again, there's no cost, there's no obligation to have these conversations and more. So don't delay. Stay in front of your retirement planning with one call to Jim Fox at Wadadley Financial Group. 321-414-PLAN. 321-414-7526. So, Jim, it has been a pleasure as always, my friend. Always great to sit down with you. And I think we all can say we learned a few things on the show today. And before we run out of time this week, my friend, the floor is all yours for the final word.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Well, guys, every week, Kevin and I say the same thing. You have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're honored to be one of those resources. So if there's anything we can do for you, pick up the phone, give us a call. We're standing by. But on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack, I want to thank you for everything, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.